Hello, this is the first video in a small series of CAD tutorials. In this video, we will be going over how to download Inventor 2021, download the parts required to CAD VEX, start a new project in Inventor, and import the part files into said project. To get started, we are going to head over to Autodesk.com. Inventor is one subset of many different CAD programs, all designed to do different things. Many of you have may used Autodesk Fusion 360 in the past to CAD VEX, but while it is capable of doing so, Fusion was always meant as a 3D modeling program. While in Inventor, you may find it much easier to manipulate the parts in the assemblies. First, we are going to scroll down to the bottom of the page where it says Support and Learning. Under this tab, there is a Student and Educators button. We are going to click that. Up at the top, under Autodesk, it says Free Software. This is where Autodesk stores all of the software that students and educators are allowed access to. We are going to be using Inventor, so once we get into Inventor, you need to sign in or create a new account if you do not already have an account with Autodesk. Next, we need to choose the parameters. We are going to be teaching Inventor 2021, but many of the lessons will be able to carry over if you are unable to get this version. Once that's done, it will give us a serial number and a product key. Sometimes when you download a new Inventor program, it'll ask you to input the product key or license number. So just to be safe, we are going to open up a notepad and just copy these over to the notepad, just to be on the safe side. Once we have that done, we can just install now. It gives you the license and services agreement. You can read through it if you really want. Don't recommend it though. It should give us a .exe down here, which is just the install file. If you have not downloaded a Autodesk software before, it takes quite a bit of time. Usually it takes upwards of an hour, but it can also take only 20 minutes depending on what computer you are using. So once it initialized the download, we are just going to install on this computer. It'll determine everything, all the requirements. We are going to be downloading the professional version, not the regular. There's really not much of a difference. You can just leave these checked off. One installs Inventor 2021, so of course we need that, and the other just installs all the content libraries in case you want to deviate from VEX and just start making your own parts. While Inventor is downloading, we are going to download all the parts needed for VEX VRC. In this folder, we have almost all the parts VEX has, but only from V4 sadly. But we will go over how to get new parts in a little bit. Using the link provided, it should take you to this page. If you don't have the link, I will put it up on the screen, and it will take us to a Google Drive where we can download all the parts. Once we are here, we just press the download all button, and while it is preparing to download, we are going to go into a file system and we are going to create a new folder where we will store our project. You can name this folder whatever you want. I'm just going to name it Change Up 2021 since that's the game this year. And once the download is complete, this is where we will put our file. Once the file is finished downloading, we can simply extract all files into the folder that we have made beforehand. This folder will pretty much include everything you need, although we are going to be downloading a few extra parts that this file does not include. That includes a V5 motor, Cortex, and maybe even some sensors, depending on what type of robot you're looking for. So now that we have finished setting up our file system, we are now going to finally head into Inventor. One part I did forget to record was activating the license. Turns out we did not need the licenses that we have saved beforehand, but they are still useful to have for future reference, so I would keep them in the project folder. Just to walk you through it, basically it'll ask you to activate your license or just run the program on a free 30-day trial, and you can just activate the license and it automatically activates it for you by going into your account. Once we are in Inventor now, we're going to go to the home page. I already have a ton of projects, but we are going to import and create a new one. So you can press the projects button up top, and we are going to press new, single user project. Vault user projects are if you want to use them over multiple computers. But I really don't recommend using that because there's a program called CAD that's just better for it. Name our project whatever we named our folder, just to not get anything mixed up. And we are going to direct it to the folder. This is where, remembering where the folder comes in. And once we change the workspace folder, we can press finish, and we have our project. Now that we have our project done, we are going to be importing new parts into our project by going to vex.com and V5 or IQ if you're going to use it for this. Once we're here, we're going to go to the electronics under the products tab, and this is where all of the electronics parts are, including V4, in case you need a V4 Cortex or any of the sensors. But for right now, we're just going to be downloading a V5 smart motor, but by using the same processes, you can download a brain, radio, all of it. So once we are in the V5 smart motor, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, there is CAD files. And this is where we're going to download a new part. Now it downloads a file called a step file. This is basically how CAD reads it, but Inventor uses a custom file system called an IPT, so we're going to have to convert that. So once we press show in folder, it shows us where our download is, and we are simply just going to take this and drop it into our file. Now, once we have this, we can put it wherever we want to. For now, I'm just going to leave it on the outside, though if you want to organize it a little bit more, you can bring it all the way into where motors are, and then do it from there. So now that we have that done, we can go back into Inventor, and we're going to open up our part by coming down here, and right now it's only opening Inventor files, but we need it to open step files. So pressing the Options tab, we just open up the step file, and now we can see that we have our V5 Smart Motor file, and we're just going to open that. It asks us if we want to change on any of the options. You do not need to change anything. It is good as it is. That's okay. And it starts converting the step file into a assembly. And there we have it. We have a V5 smart motor. I do not recommend moving or touching any of the parts. When a step file moves over, it does not move any of the constraints over. I will teach you what a constraint is in a later video, but for now, we just want to leave it where it was. And that concludes this video. Next time we are going to be going over how to bring parts into an assembly and learning the tools from the display all the parts. Have fun!